What's going on, you guys? You're now tuned into WWE Backlash live from San Juan, Puerto Rico. We got a lot to talk about, you guys, so let's go ahead and jump right into it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. As you know, we are here. WWE Backlash live from San Juan, Puerto Rico. I mean, the show from top to bottom was like crazy. Honestly, we had a double main event, which I think that what should have been a main event was not the main event. So whatever. But of course, you don't know who I am. I am the EIC here, Women's Wrestling Talk, Driana Santana. And of course, I'm not alone. I got my tag partner here. We are the Salt Shakers. We literally run Women's Wrestling Talk. If you don't know, you'll find out. And of course, we're not alone. Like, we got some guys in here with us. Introduce yourselves for people who may not know who you are and stuff. Sorry,
Yes,
you, Mr. Booney.
Starting with me. How you doing? My name is Booney Mayfield. Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for having me on here. I'm an all-around music creator, content creator, kind of an OG YouTuber. I went viral back in 2007 before we even called it that. And so, I've just been doing music for a long time, and I've been a WWE fan all my life pretty much, but like really hooked in for the past 8 years. So happy to be here.
Awesome. And Cedric, yourself?
Yeah, my name is Cedric. You see my handle says I'm a sports journalist, content creator. I cover combat sports for a number of different brands. Been doing Women's Wrestling Talk live for the past month. Former Afterbuzzer as well. That's how I met the boss lady TK, Afterbuzz. So I know a bunch of former Afterbuzzers who probably participate in this brand, but lifelong wrestling fan as well. And yeah, Backlash was actually very surprising. I'm happy to talk to y'all about it.
Yeah, so we're not gonna waste too much time here. Congratulations, Nikki. Nikki did graduate today from college. You know,
Congratulations.
DTSU.
Yes.
I mean, Nikki got our screenshot.
That's awesome.
I didn't even know she was wearing her screen shirt. All right, that's how you know we in sync. So let's go ahead and jump right into Backlash. Our opening match of the night, Bianca Belair defends her Raw Women's Championship against Io Sky. I mean, we know Bianca's been drafted to SmackDown, and so has Io. So, of course, this is Bianca's day of tying Becky Lynch as the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion. The match itself, great opening. Bianca came out. Everybody was cheering, right? Io comes out. Everybody's cheering Io. And then the match starts, and it's like, y'all treating Bianca like she's NXT Bianca by booing her. I didn't understand like what happened. Like what was the issue going on with those two? Like, I did not expect Bianca to be booed by not at all. But Io getting like the fan favorite, and then even within the match itself, I mean, she was targeting Bianca's arm. And I mean, Bianca's a powerhouse. So Io doing right, attacking that arm, trying to break Bianca down. I thought Bianca might have like kind of hurt Io when she did that one hand military press she normally does, and she kind of dropped Io on her face. And I mean, despite damage control thinking that they could once again try to help a fellow member defeat Bianca Belair, nonetheless, what I would say is this was Bianca Belair walking into Puerto Rico tonight. She was Cena walking to ECW that night for RVD. Like, this was Bianca walking in.
One night stand. Right?
One night stand.
I was literally sitting here. I was like, I jokingly say, obviously after the 3-peat, she's in her Cena era. But I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, yeah, she just had the biggest Cena moment in her career at this point.
She did. Automatically off the rip, she really did. But like I said, despite Bayley and Dakota coming out to try to help Io win, they should have probably stayed in the back. I'm not gonna even lie, because they kind of ruined the moment for Io. They tried their best. They almost had it. Bayley tried to hold, lean up on against Bianca's braid to try to keep her from getting up when Io went for the moonsault. But it didn't work out the way, and Bianca will now go on to be the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion. She will, go over and make her 400 days before she has to probably do that title swap. So, I mean, this opening match here, you guys, what are we thinking? Bianca, like, she's moving up in the ranks, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? She's doing a lot. Nobody stopping her. Who can beat Bianca Belair?
Nobody. I mean, clearly the match was fantastic. I was surprised too. That was the same, feeling that I got right at the beginning. Everyone cheering both, and then it just like flipped, and that's why I was just like, I don't know, like, EO being maybe from the independent scene before, maybe like she really just has a thick fan base out there, like even beforehand or something outside of it. I'm not sure, but regardless, I think they performed well, and I mean, ain't nobody touching Bianca right now. I mean, hands down, period.
I like that you said right now.
Oh God.
Because there's bigger fish that Bianca needs to fry. Looking past EO real quick, if you didn't realize how over she was, now, tonight. She's way over. EO is a very big, vital part to a lot of the underground, a lot of the independents, a lot of different people, and they actually love and respect EO. Bianca Belair has a task that she still needs to complete. 400 days is amazing. Yeah. But the 4 that I'm looking for is the 4 that I want to happen on August the 5th. And I know we're still out. We're still ways out. But I think that it's going to be very easy for Bianca to get to her task at SummerSlam, because honestly, I think that it's going to be really hard. It was hard for them to make EO look believable to beat Bianca, but having such a strong fan base and being over, it's going to be, it's going to be challenging. But I think now you're on the blue brand now, Bianca, and, Charlotte Flair is around the corner. And I think it's very important to understand that you still have to beat that 4. Now, I know there's no more Sasha Banks. She's Mercedes now doing her thing. But I think that it's very, and Bianca's very vigilant on completing this too. So I know that people say who can beat Bianca. I don't know if Charlotte Flair can beat Bianca, but I know she will stand tall with her, and they will probably put on one of the greatest matches in SummerSlam history. Yep, and I said that because I know matches at SummerSlam.
Yes. Well, Charlotte needs to show up. Come off vacation on Andrade. You're living up at Anu's, concert and tour and everything. We need you to go ahead and wrap it up a little bit and come back so we can get to the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, I like this match. I think the holding the braid and outside, I don't think that's been done before. That's an underrated part of this match. I wish they would have sold it a little bit long, but seeing EO get this presentation, man, I've been waiting for this presentation for EO since she got called up. That NXT presentation where she was, for a brief time, considered the best wrestler in the company, some would say. Not just the women's division. She's that good. And I think this platform not only showed her fan base, but showed her skill to work with a Bianca Belair, who, like you said, is on her Cena level right now. I think that's a good thing. Seeing that alienation of a portion of a fan base where she's getting jeered, getting booed, that's a good thing because it's only going to elevate her that much more. And to Nikki's point, yeah, that's the last rung that she has to climb, is that Charlotte Flair notch. Getting her get back, because she shouldn't have lost NXT against Charlotte Flair, hasn't won in the main roster against Charlotte Flair. And once she gets that, I think we'll see a different iteration of Bianca once she conquers all of those Infinity Stones. So when that happens, that could literally be a main event if they want to paint it that way. I know we've tried to kind of portray Charlotte as the babyface of recently on her last run. Maybe they flip it up. Maybe they flip it up and make Bianca the heel. I don't know. But once Bianca actually conquers that, then I think we'll have a step back from the title picture and maybe see Bianca on her chase again, which is actually beautiful television, seeing Bianca actually chase the title.
That's a good point of view to say that. But whenever Charlotte Flair shows up to work, then we can start the agenda. Right now, she can continue to travel the world, Mexico with her husband, or whatever else she's doing.
You guys look at EO like the next wave? Because I know there's a graphic that's been floating around as EO being one of that next iteration of 4 Horsewomen.
I haven't seen that.
There can never be You can get EO and you can get Rhea and you can get whoever you want, but there'll never be a rendition of the 4. I think what will happen is they will be able to take the marquee and the prevalence of the 4 and apply it, but there'll never be another Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, and Bayley. And the only reason because of that is because we were vital. We were hungry for that type of, like, when they were doing that in the black and gold, I can still remember how important that 4-way match was, and Sasha being the underdog and Sasha winning. And then really it was hard for a lot of people to understand why Bayley was so underrated. And I think it was because of how she stayed back. But I think with EO, I think that it just is going to take for her to be put in the right circumstances. But I think, if I'm being honest, EO's biggest problem is Bayley. Like, that's her biggest holdback right now. Okay. So
you mean being settled in her stable, you mean?
Yeah, like, I think Dakota benefits drastically in the faction, in their group. I don't feel like that for EO. And the reason I say that is because of the tag match that they had last week. Dakota and Bayley together is really, it's really good. They have more chemistry. And I'm sure it's being built that way, right? But with EO is such an independent solo talent. We've seen Dakota be in tags. We've seen Dakota be with other people, Bayley as well. With EO, even though we may have seen it in the past, I think that she needs to break away because she's always going to be like held back. And maybe there's a story there with Bayley.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I agree with that.
Speaking of something that is continuing on with the story, we get back here because, of course, we got Bad Bunny, and y'all gonna really see me how I act when we get to the match for Bad Bunny and Damon Priest. Let y'all know right now I'm stressed. So we have Bad Bunny, and then we have Rey Mysterio come in, and of course, Bad Bunny is, he's getting ready for his big match that he's having with Damian Priest, the San Juan street fight. Rey comes in, shows a lot of love, gives a lot of love, but we got a surprise from Savio Vega. Los Boricuas, this is legendary to have someone of his caliber give Bad Bunny a Puerto Rico-inspired kendo stick that will be greatly used later on tonight. And this segment was sponsored by Adidas because Bad Bunny's and Adidas. Listen, how can you not? But speaking of, like I said, we talk about story, something that had absolutely no story, no build up, but also you also learn that I am an Homo sapien. I'm letting y'all know that right now. I am down with Omos. It started out with shits and giggles, but honestly, truly, I think that man is the man's resume. Bobby, Brock, Seth. The man has a nice resume. He's putting on matches, whether he's being carried in or not. He's actually proving and showing that even though he's a big guy, he's able to maneuver around. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, I thought this match was really good. I thought maybe it would be like a squash match or something. I didn't think it was going to last that long. But it gave Omos a little bit of time to shine, but also know that, of course, Seth was not going to lose this match. By no means necessary. Any thoughts on this? Because I already had my thoughts. I laughed the entire match, honestly.
Man, truth be
Seth
told,
is a good match out of anybody, can't he?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like anytime Seth has a match, he makes the other person just look even better. With what he does and stuff. So so far that's been the most interesting match I've seen with Omos. Because I'll admit I'm not a fan like that, but. Yeah, that was probably the most entertaining to me from what I've seen in his match.
I think for me it just proves that Seth Rollins without a title is the top guy in the company.
Yep.
Like Roman, great, love it, snooze fest, right? But Seth is always reinventing himself, where Roman has had to use other people to reinvent his bloodline in a sense. Where Seth has really built a empire on his own, and it's even rubbed off Becky. I went to WrestleMania this past April. I didn't realize how much I genuinely loved and respected Seth Rollins, not only for him being so revolutionary, literally, but just his marquee, like you said. He can wrestle literally anyone, but it makes me a little like I'm a little stingy because I just think about when I watch Seth Rollins, I think about him not being in WWE and like all the matches that we would have in places like GCW or even XPW, Impact Wrestling, AEW. Like if Seth was able to, and I think this is why he should win the title, because I do think that this title is going to be defended in places like New Japan Pro Wrestling and other promotions that we're just not expecting. And I think Seth, if you're going to put this title on someone, it has to be someone who has that background, who's international, and who is someone like a Seth Rollins. I mean, obviously, I'm rooting for AJ Styles to win, but I think Seth is a prime example of being a true, genuine sports entertainer, but still being one of the best professional wrestlers too.
Hell yeah, bar none. Like,
and then Seth's professionalism can't go unnoticed. Like him working with certain acts on different parts of the card, just beautiful to see. And like he's going to put on a stellar match. Like we didn't know anything about this feud coming in. I think they had a 2-week build, and to put on that performance with Omos is amazing because we know Omos going forward is going to be such a big deal with the whole free agent angle. He's a spectacle at this point. He's going to be on both brands, might even show up in NXT, but we're going to see more Omos now, and just giving him that platform in Puerto Rico to show like, hey, I can work too. Not many guys backstage will probably give Omos that chance. So salute to Seth for being the guy to step up and be the flag bearer for the company. And at any given time, any day of the year, Seth Rollins has staked his flag to be the best wrestler in the world at any given moment.
Yes, indeed. And and just to chime in on that, like just how he reinvents himself, it's just like what's so cool about it. Just over the years, it's always so organic and never feels forced. Like every transition from I mean, which one was he doing where he had like the cult like thing with Buddy Murphy from them, and then like he transitioned out of it. It's almost like you didn't notice it. It wasn't like this, gotta figure out the next gimmick. It just flows, and that's what I love about watching his career. It's just always like, what's the next thing he's gonna do, and it never feels forced. That's dope.
That's true. Next thing we need to get is Seth on the Met Gala, like red carpet.
Please.
That's what we need to get. Please. We need to get like let him take a Monday off and go to the Met Gala next year.
Drip all day.
All it would take is King Troy to do like a Lupita or dress like a Cardi or dress someone. I guarantee you, if King Troy did 1 year, one Met Gala, Becky and Seth would be there, like, and people would be like, "Who are these people?" But you also have to throw in Bianca and Montez in that too.
It's hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
She designs it all herself, so that's just like that jacket that she made for Ted. Yo, I wanted that jacket so bad.
Hard. But yeah, so shout out to Seth for getting the victory. I guess some of the Homo sapiens will be heading to headquarters. Not me though. I'm staying at home. But you know, listen, Omos make it to another pay-per-view without having to really do anything. I don't care what nobody says. This man is working. This man's getting booked. Okay, so it doesn't even matter. All right, so we move on to the triple threat match here between Bronson Reed, Bobby Lashley, and of course the United States champion Austin Theory. This match here was really, really good, really, really nice. It came to a close point where I thought that Bobby honestly could have won. Like, I'm not going to even lie, but you know, I think that with Theory actually retaining the way that he did, the cheapest way that he did. No offense, Nikki, because I know how you feel about Theory. But you know, he won. That's pretty much what I can say about that. He won, and I mean the strength that he has to pick up Bronson Reed, like. I'm not the biggest Theory fan, but the boy is talented. He's really, really good.
Theory is the next Seth Rollins to me. Like
he's so good.
I felt the same way about Seth Rollins in the beginning when I really started watching, because it was around the time he had just double crossed the Shield, and so I remember how annoyed I was by him just starting off in the beginning. And I was just like, but the more he kept on having matches, I was like, but this dude dope though. and it just kept on progressing. I was just like, yo, this is one of the best, greatest of all time. And this Austin Theory dude, I'm just already seeing it where it's just like, first of all, he is the best at selling, hands down right now. His selling is like, it's comedic at the same time as super athletic. Like, how did he just do that right there? Like, it's artistic. The way he sells is I think only comparable. My best friend says to RVD. So right now I'm saying I don't know. I love his selling. I at first I wasn't a Theory fan. I ain't saying I'm the biggest Theory fan, but I can't deny that he's one of the he's one of the ones.
He is, and I'm glad that Theory is being shown as a megastar because the man is a megastar. You may hate him because that's what you're supposed to do, but he's one of the most talented and one of the most athletic, very underrated. Theory reign in NXT when he got called up. I've been watching Theory since Evolve when he was champion down there, and I've really gotten an opportunity to watch this man grow, and he just keeps getting better. And what I really, really love is he's becoming one of those, like you said, one of those Seths that can literally work with anything. I think the reason why he retains, though, is because we're not done with this feud between Bobby and Bronson Reed, and obviously doesn't need a championship. The big question is, Bronson, what was your problem? Like, what was your issue? Because you really just literally bamboozled and forced your way through this match for no reason. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what was your issue and what was the problem? Because you did all that just to lose. So leave Theory out of it. Like, Jesus, like, what are we doing here? You just came back. You're bulldozing everyone. Like, go and find you something safe to do, because trying to take a title off of Theory is not in the works as of now. Okay, he has to see Grayson Waller. He has to see LA Knight. Another person he has to see. One of my favorites. He's gonna have to see Cameron Grimes. Okay, those are the many matches. SmackDown is spoiled, literally.
Give me the Cameron Grimes. Give me that. That needs to be the first program. And this was low key. This was a dark horse match of the night. Low key, the action in this match, and I say that I felt like Theory was going to win coming in because there's still more stories to be told. But Bronson Reed showed his ass. That man is athletic. Not just the moonsault that was missed that ultimately ended the match, but the Vader bombs to the outside of the ring. That man's going to go places. I'm glad that he's back in the company, but they're allowing him a better presentation as a bruiser, as a athletic big man. And I think he's on Raw now. I think I drafted Raw. So there'll be more feuds there for him. But like you mentioned, Grayson Waller, LA Knight, Cameron Grimes, that mid-card scene on Friday night is going to be that much more important and impactful now, especially when you have Roman who's not showing up a lot. So I think SmackDown was the right move over Raw to continue casting this star around Austin Theory, who probably by the end of the year will be a champion. And I'm not talking about just a mid-card champion. I'm talking about an actual world champion.
He's been the true A champion. Honestly, he's truly been very vigilant as being the main champion. Obviously, Bianca, in my opinion, and Rhea are the top champions because I don't feel like any of the guys are really, I don't think the guys are really touching the surface that Bianca and Rhea are on right now. No. And in order to be a pinnacle, you have to show up to work. And I just feel like Theory is one of those people that consistently shows up. And I think, like,
I
think it was just taking some people some time to like.
Gunther be killing it though.
Gunther shows up to work. Yeah, all his people show up to work.
I think I was talking about Raw, but I did try to throw some shade at Roman, so I jumped over there.
Child,
you know I love.
You don't even come there at all.
They might as well just make Solo the champion
at this point. But
they might.
We gotta talk about Solo later though, because child. It's wow. That's all I can say. What you going to say, Mr. Booney? Were you going to say something?
Oh, yeah. But I think I was going to say about Austin Theory. I think one of the things that took a while for some people to really just start respecting him and seeing the talent was once he wasn't backed by Vince and that whole storyline. Because I think it was just feeling like you're forcing it down our throats, like Roman and everybody. It's like, We don't want a Vince forced anything, protagonist, heel, face, nothing. And so I think people were just resistant to that until a time where it was just out of that way, and Austin Theory just got to just like be him. And then that's where it was just like, I felt like really starting to take off from him.
It was the beard for me. Once he grew the beard and took off, that was grew the beard, we're good. Because for me, like, I couldn't see Theory outside of that gimmick he had with the way, kind of like the dunce gimmick where he was really goofy and nonchalant. Once he grew a beard and put on the Top Gun jacket, I was like, oh, he being serious business now. So like ever since then, he's took off.
Yeah.
And like honestly, like you said, I've never thought of him as the A champion, but now that you put it in those words, he is. He's the guy that shows up to work every week, has his own spotlight, has his own segment, and has his own like depth of challengers to put on great matches. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah,
that is true. I agree. So shout out to Theory for retaining his title. Don't know who his next opponent is going to be, but I guess after Cameron Grimes get done with that bum ass Corbin, maybe he'll turn his attention to Austin Theory. Speaking of more attention, of course, you know, this is Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. And of course, we have to talk about this match here. Rhea Ripley defending her SmackDown Women's Champion against Zelina Vega. This match here, whatever the outcome was going to be, I think it was more so about the moment for Zelina. Rhea Ripley coming out in this white gear, she looked absolutely amazing. I never expected to see Rhea in a white gear, despite her joining the dark side of Judgment Day, but she looked absolutely amazing. But when you get here for Zelina fucking Vega, now, Zelina always does an amazing job when it comes to her gear, whether it's anime inspired. Majority of the time, her gear is representing anime culture, which I gradually appreciate so much. But this here, a gear that is Puerto Rican inspired. She's in her home country. Her family is there. You know, so her mom, stepdad, uncle, and I think brother was there too. Like her family's there, living in this moment. She comes out with the flag, the entire gear, her hair, like everything about this was just a perfect moment for Zelina. I mean, the moment that she was like the cheers, the roar that came into within this crowd, like the Puerto Rico crowd was crazy anyway. Let's start there.
Yeah,
but with Zelina, like with Zelina and her being introduced and her crying because she can't hold her tears, and the fact that she's having the opportunities for the first time ever to wrestle in her country. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of that happens. And we know about the Puerto Rican wrestlers like history within this country itself. So we definitely saw a lot of that tonight. This match is really good.
Really quick, I just want to respond to this. I just want to say Zelina can't carry this brand and she can't carry this division. Zelina's a phenomenal talent and an amazing talent. But the reason why Zelina's not champion is because Rhea's carrying the division. You can't, like, it would have been the best upset ever. Like, it would have been great. It would have been I love a good heel moment. I love a good screw job. I love it, right? Yeah. But the reason why Zelina Vega's not walking out of her country as the champion is because she's not in the position. It's the same problem that y'all did with Liv Morgan. Y'all wanted her to win that championship so bad, and what did she do to the brand? She was a holder for Ronda Rousey, who was a holder for Charlotte Flair to come and save us on the last day of the year. Y'all cannot, we have to allow talent to grow without championships. Everyone's not going to be a Deonna Purrazzo, and that's all I'm going to say. But
I don't even think it was more so about her winning the championship. Yeah, it would have been really cool, really nice. But how long would y'all have actually enjoyed that? I think it's more so about the moment. Don't it? Maybe not.
I mean, I got the same thoughts about Cody, but
yeah,
I don't.
Not
I don't know about Cody's situation. He still got another chapter to go through before he.
My question is like.
Yeah.
Where was this presentation for Zelina when she won Queen of the Ring?
It wasn't there. Well, then again, that was a different
the inaugural Queen of the Ring. Like they didn't give her this. Like this is dope. Your first time wrestling in your country. That moment is huge. It's a moment she'll never forget. But we should have had this the exact same presentation for her week in, week out as the first ever Queen of the Ring. Because she's still the first ever Queen of the Ring because we don't even have that tournament rebooked for this year yet. But like, I hope this is just the start of more. Like the LWO thing is going to continue. I hope this is more of the presenting her like the talent she is. Because she's worked her way up these past few years. The in-ring work was amazing tonight. She's in her complete bag. You can tell she's been training hard to get some of this stuff down, whether it's selling or it's performing offense. I hope they actually make her one of those people who, for lack of better words, you can believe can dethrone the champion, even if it doesn't happen. Make us invested in the moment.
You know, this brings it to my main just gripe and argument I will keep on saying for years. I don't care if anybody agrees or disagrees. But if they don't come up with the Women's Intercontinental Championship, I am going to slap somebody because there's such a thick mid card in the women's division.
Dana Brooke.
And these women are just being thrown into, because they can't, a lot of them can't be that top, person on either end. So, but yet we have this tag team championship that only got created for the Iconics when there was no other tag team at all. And so they created it for the Iconics. They didn't even hold it long. They didn't even stick around that long. And so the tag team championships has usually been made to just like throw some mid cards together, and rather than it being organic tag teams and stuff. I felt like there's more organic tag teams coming from the NXT, division, but in the main roster, the women's tag team division was just like created for the Iconics. They gone, and now it's like, well, let's keep doing this. And I'm just like, yo, I just felt like an Intercontinental Championship should have came first or instead. And that is why, to me, still, there's so many of these women not getting the shine that they really should be getting, because there should be another belt, just like the men have one. If y'all just released another third world championship.
I think the issue, like right now, I don't think we introduce a new title. I think we allow NXT to be a vigilant brand where that championship can be defended on all brands, because that, and I know there's a lot of prestige with the Raw Women's Championship. Of course, Charlotte winning that championship multiple times, Becky, Sasha. There's so many different feuds that's come with that championship. SmackDown Women's Championship. There's so much prestige there. Becky, Bayley, even Alexa Bliss. But the NXT Women's Championship, in my opinion, has been the most vigilant and most prestigious women's championship in this company. And the reason being is because when you were champion, there was a little bit, it was something different. I go back to Shayna Baszler and how dominant she was over the men. She was one of the greatest in that division. I go back and I think about how many times I thought Shayna was going to drop the title. I go back to think about Rhea and Raquel. I go back to when Raquel won the title. I go back to the prestige that the Black and Gold brand built to with NXT. I think you allow that championship to be your women's Intercontinental Championship or mid-card, and allow Indy to come over here and work with some of these girls, because she has been a veteran so long in NXT, but Indy's injured. So obviously, something's going to happen. But I think because both of the women's NXT championships, they're being held on Raw one on Raw, one on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And so if we could get rid of one of the tag team championships, let them be cross brand on SmackDown, Raw, and NXT, and then have another championship for the women, I think it's too necessary. I'm against introducing another title, but I'm not opposed to changing the camaraderie of what we already have. Like 24/7 championship benefited Dana Brooke, and Dana Brooke is the most overlooked. So What were you saying?
She wanted to actually remember the interview Dana Brooke did where she said that she thought about the 24/7 championship and actually make like turning it. She pitched turning that title into like an intercontinental or like a mid card title for the women. They turned it down. Like they pulled in the fucking trash. Like no. Like she said it in the interview.
That was the whole
that was a whole situation there. So like Nikki missed the trash can. Stupid. But,
and then, like, I agree with the whole black and gold thing too, because like, what was it, 2019? We had the invasion angle, and that angle cooked. And we've seen acts go down to NXT and put on great matches in the past year, whether it was Natalya, whether it was Dolph Ziggler, Apollo Crews, Ricochet. It works. But if you make NXT a third brand, it gives everybody a chance to have that second spotlight and actually get like ingratiated with some of these fans that don't know them as an actual talent. I think I've been saying about the tag team titles forever. When they traveled to all three brands, they meant something. When they introduced those NXT tag women's titles, like it just dumbed everything down because you don't have enough tag teams to fill that depth. But having women go down and having the NXT women's title featured on all three brands would be money. Because when Kevin Owens had the NXT title, he was coming up to Raw every week.
Yeah.
Why not do that same thing for the women's title? Because you can have Dana Brooke hold the title. You can have Zelina Vega. And then there's going to be so many new talent now that we have the call-ups that being able to work with a veteran is only going to help them get acclimated so much faster.
Yeah.
On NXT. It just makes sense all around. But also to your advantage, why don't we have more tournaments? Like you have the Andre for the men. You can have an Andre for the women, but we also had the NXT UK Heritage Cup, which is being floated around on NXT again. Why not have those type of tournaments for the women and bring back the Mae Young Classic more?
Yeah, I was about to say, man, what happened to the Mae Young Classic, man?
You would think so, but I don't know what type of direction WWE is like going with when it comes to the women because they have a lot of women, honestly. Like they can stop acting like they don't though. And I mean, like in the beginning time when they did have the tag team champions and they had Sasha and Bailey go down to face like Io, down in NXT and stuff like that. But
best match of the pandemic.
Oh, very
that
much
was a beautiful segments too out of that.
Great American Bash.
So like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what WWE may have in store when it comes to the women, especially, but I do think they should have had a mid card. I think they should have got rid of those tag titles a long time ago because y'all ran out of tag teams and y'all just started putting people together. Random people that didn't even fucking matter. They just start putting together, just say a tag team, and then they go off and they have a tag match for the titles, they lose, or we get new champions, and it's the process all over again.
Yeah, and
you don't even see them. They don't show up.
Story. There's not even.
It's the sloppiness behind it too. Like these people don't even talk to each other backstage, and it's like, oh, we had a tag match.
Like, so they say we working today. Who? Girl,
I guess we work together. I guess we working together today. Yep.
I think what's missing too is people don't understand the prestige of tag team wrestling. So because we've never seen the only vigilant tag team that we've really ever seen that have actually reached a certain pinnacle is Sasha and Bailey, but they were always feuding. So what they created in their story was that what they were trying to convey is that yes, we can have women's tag team, but we have to make them women. We have to make them feud. We have to make them be catty. We have to make Sasha and Bailey hate each other because we can't, like, yes, we've done it with the men before, but it's very different. Like with the men, they just turn and they fight and it's over. But with the women, they try to make it seems like they diminished a lot of things at that WrestleMania when Sasha and Bailey end up actually losing to the Iconics. Right. I think that has diminished and tarnished a lot because at that time, Sasha Banks had never really had her WrestleMania moment. Hell, I don't know if Bailey's won before, but Sasha just really, a lot of rumors came out of that, a lot of bullshit came out of that. And then on top of that, Sasha was involved again with those same titles just recently, of course, with the walkout. And I think that these titles have just had a lot of tarnish to their name because of what's been built in the teams. And I'm not saying built by themselves. I'm saying like built by creation. Creation has kind of fucked those titles over in a sense.
Completely. The booking and it's been,
I don't think they had a plan.
So what's the move now? Do you guys think Alba and Isla because they're the real tag team here. At least on the surface, it feels like it. Do they unify?
Oof.
If they wanted to go
I think we got more stories to tell if they unify and travel to all three brands. We got Casey and Katana now. It seems like there's a more breath of fresh air of actual tag teams floating around.
Jakara and Lash, we're waiting on them to get on TV. You know?
Yep. And we got Elektra and Lola. That seem like they're going to be paired up as well.
It's hard to say because if they wanted to go that route with actually unifying the tag titles, I think that'd be great. You just have one title that they can just go to any brand and do it that way. It makes it easier and it kind of gives a little more opportunity. I know they tried to I know that because we know who was in charge at the time, like the doesn't look at NXT as a third brand anyway. Let's start there. And so bringing in the NXT women's tag titles it did something, but it didn't do much because you forgot about the main roster titles. Half of the time we didn't even know who was holding them, who was defending them. And then what I feel like another downfall for those main roster titles, when y'all had that big ass tournament for WrestleMania, Natalya and Tamina win, and then the next night they lose at WrestleMania night 2 when they had Shayna and Nia as champions. So I'm like, and then they went on a random SmackDown. Like a lot of these title matches are happening at random Raws or random SmackDown live shows and stuff, like actually building something. Like as soon as somebody attacks the tag champions, boom, they get a title match. And then after that, they lose, and then it's like, okay, well, who's next in line?
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, there will be a tag match for those tag titles this coming Friday. Liv and Raquel will be defending themselves against Bayley and Dakota Kai. So we'll have to see what happens with that there. But yeah, so back to Zelina and Rhea Ripley. Zelina brought out the chunk club. You know what I'm saying? She threw it with very much targeting on that middle section. If you ever been hit by one, please duck. I'm letting you know now. But nonetheless, though, like Zelina, she did an amazing job for what she could do, but it wasn't enough to take down Rhea Ripley. And once again, Rhea Ripley did what she said she's gonna do, and she said she's gonna fold her like a pretzel, and that's exactly what she did. But
follow me here.
I think a lot of us would like to be folded. But nonetheless, like I said, I think it was the more of the moment for Zelina, like to wrestle in front of your family. I know her dad's looking down on her because they did mention, his circumstances, stuff like that, and it was just a moment for her. The crowd uproar for Zelina in various different ways. And like I said, whether she won or lost, the moment itself was bigger than her winning this title.
That's what it was about. Like I wasn't really expecting her to win like that, but it was like this is her moment that she gets to have, and that crowd was just so live in the first place, and just how much love they poured onto her, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Even my wife was like, "Man, I want to cry right now." It was a great moment.
And she had a lot of people tearing up, I would say. But shout out to Zelina. You did an amazing job, girl. You can say that you had the opportunity to show that you can be in a title picture and be in a title match as a single competitor. And I love that, her being a part of LWO does allow her to have a little spotlight, I will say. All right. Okay. All right. So we get here because it doesn't stop there. Okay. So we had Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest in a San Juan street fight. This is my heart of the night. This is where I was really stressed out in various different ways. I screamed for half of the time. I cried. I was silent. I walked in and out of my room back and forth on multiple times. When I told y'all I was gonna be stressed, when I told y'all Friday, when I told y'all Monday I was gonna be stressed out, I meant that. I was stressed in so many different ways. I don't think y'all understand. But this was one of our double main events. And Damian came out in his white, of course. Him and Rhea staying on a trend for their Judgment Day gear for the night. Even though he was being booed, but this is Damian Priest's country as well, But Bad fucking Bunny, his entrance was like top 3 of the year for me. Like him saying that he was changing his theme. I don't even have the fucking words to say how I felt through his entire entrance. I mean, he had a badass entrance. He's bringing us Attitude Era, of course, with bringing out the shit that Raven used to bring out in the damn buggy and all this stuff, carts, trash cans, chairs, kendo sticks, of course. And I mean, everything about this match itself was representation of not only just Puerto Rico, but for Latinos like myself and so much more. It's about like whether you're Puerto Rican or not, because I'm not, but you know, it's the representation of all Latinos and having this moment, being amongst a crowd of your friends, your family, fans, supporters. Someone like Bad Bunny, who grew up in this country, been a longtime WWE fan, would never expect to even have this moment to be able to wrestle in his own country amongst other people. The crowd erupted. Cody Rhodes, I'm sorry, you was not touching this man tonight. I'm serious. He had pyro. He had the crowd singing his song. Like I mean, singing their heart out to the point where it's like, I don't know how many people were able to sit here and like get through this whole thing, but this match itself was absolutely amazing. The fucking, what was it? It was a driver that he did. I'm trying to think of it. But he did a driver on Damian Priest. He did the Falcon Arrow. Damian Priest put fucking Bad Bunny through a table. They both went through a table. I mean, even to the point where Bad Bunny puts Damian in the figure 8, figure 4 leg lock, and the suplex, it was so much that was happening within this match. He was beating the hell out of him with the damn kendo stick. He was going crazy. He was treating Damian Priest's head like a tambourine with those damn trash cans tops. I mean, it was I don't know, man. Like this match here was it was crazy. It was everything. I mean, from even, you know, of course, Dominic and Finn was not going to be too far along the way without finding themselves a way to interfere in this match in various different ways. Bunny flying, but Carlito coming out, yo. I was not expecting that at all whatsoever. He still looks good. He still looks great. He gave a mean fucking backbreaker to Finn. I mean, from the whole 9 yards, Ray being out there jumping in, like literally clearing out the house for Dominic and Finn out the way. But Savio Vega coming in to get his 1 and 2 as well. And then the whole LWO coming out to really remove Dominic and Finn from this match so that we can get back to Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. The Bunny Destroyer that he landed on Damian Priest was absolutely amazing. And Bunny, he goes home for the win. But I want a lot of people to give a lot of praise to Damian Priest, because to have someone like Damian be so trusting and so careful with Bad Bunny, the way that he protected his neck when he put him through the table, and the way that he sold a lot of the shit that Bad Bunny was doing, I think that it was absolutely great. And I mean, I know he looked like Sasha after, you know, Bianca beat her. But, you know, hey, I know deep down inside, like, this was a moment for not only just Bad Bunny, but for Damian as well. And I mean, this picture here is so beautiful in so many different ways. Dope. But I mean, I can't. So I'm gonna shut up because I'm
girl, you almost choked on my ice. That was hilarious. I think, like, me personally, I think what I love about Bad Bunny is how natural he is.
Yeah.
And how much we know he loves the business.
Yeah.
Like, we know he cares about WWE. Not just being a child, like watching it growing up, but like the mechanics. He learns a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, you know, in production and marketing and PR. He's really good. And I think he invests his time. And I think that if other companies could have that mimic of a blueprint of how to actually utilize a celebrity, but also getting the right celebrity who actually cares and just not trying to be on TV like Rick Ross, like something could really come out of this. And when you talk about, because I know the last quarter, this first quarter, WWE really struggled a little bit. They were down like 29.3%, I think, or something. And I think it has a lot to do with just how much we were waiting on certain things. And I feel like when we get the numbers for this quarter now, I think that Bad Bunny is going to be a prevalent piece of why stock went up, merge went up, viewership went up, more people are on Peacock, more people. I mean, because he's a name. This is like right now, you're talking like Bad Bunny is the biggest musical talent in the world, not just in the States. But this man literally like a headliner of Coachella, literally doing like multiple things. I mean, he's really been in his Beyonce bag for a while. And now you're becoming one of the greatest celebrities to come in and actually appreciate the business. And that's what I think has always been my disconnect with other people. Like, yeah, Logan Paul, he's good. He's a great talent. But I don't feel like he's connected to the company. I think the way Bad Bunny's holding his arm and selling this means how much he really he loves WWE. So I hope that we see more and more and more of Bad Bunny, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know why Bad Bunny can't get the Logan Paul contract now and get the Pat McAfee dates where he's a surprise interest, stuff like that. This, like you said, the biggest star in the world. I don't think people understand how serious that is, because like he don't need to do none of this. My man coming out here doing all his own stunts and then going on tour the next night and doing all this other stuff in his musical career. He's doing this just for the love of the game. Like, he respects the business, loves the game, and to put on a match like that with a superstar, like, because there was inklings that were going around that Damian Priest might win for the heel heat, and kind of take that moment away. But Damian selling Bunny performing all these different moves, like, you can tell he's so invested in his storyline and putting on a show for the fans worldwide. And that's what's beautiful about it, that this was, I don't know how this wasn't the main event. I really don't know how you don't, like, this image we have, I don't know how we don't end the show with that image. Yep. It doesn't add up, because how do you follow that? It's so hard to follow that when you know this entire building is here for Bad Bunny. And the fact that it was a double main event, but there was a cool off match in between, that's weird to me too. But I love that there was this visual of just unity, seeing the moment with Carlito, Savio Vega, really making the whole LWO faction kind of come to life tonight on a larger scale. But also Bad Bunny showing us, hey, this shit ain't for play. Like, I really put in the time. That was great.
A moment of silence for Carlito, because he looked good as hell. I'm just saying.
Hello, like, come on, like, like I said, I love everything about this image. I need to get this like printed out and hang it on my wall or something, because this is a moment in history for not only just Bad Bunny, just people of the culture and everything like that too. So I love it. You know what I'm saying? This man came out from showing his back at fucking Met Gala, you know what I'm saying, to having Damian Priest on his back here at Backlash. So it's a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful sight. Shout out to Bad Bunny. Shout out to Carlito for surprising us. Was not expecting it. But I mean, how can you be in Puerto Rico and not have Carlito come out? Come on now. Like, you gotta have him there, but to have Savio Vega be there too, Los Boricuas, I thought maybe he was gonna bring them out too, because he kind of stood there for a bit. I was like, hold on, was you bringing out the whole crew? But he brought out LWO, which I didn't mind it either. But it's a beautiful moment. So shout out to Bad Bunny, shout out to Damian Priest for doing an amazing job, selling a lot of those moves for Bad Bunny and things like that. So hopefully,
Can I say one more thing? Like, yeah. I think it really goes over people's heads, like that, like the stuff that they're doing. For him to have a full music career and come and do like these different moves and maneuvers and putting his body on line, this shit is not easy, bro. Like, at all. Like him taking these. Yo, I was at a trampoline park last week, and that shit humbled me. Like, my man taking these bumps like this, like that he don't. Made man. probably never have to work another day in his life, taking these bumps pretty much for free. Mad respect. Mad respect. Because it's not, none of this stuff is easy.
No. Shout out to Bad Bunny, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna stop being stressed out. Like, once this match is over, I lay it down and I just put my pillow over my head and scream because I got tired of being stressed out. So as we move on within the show, which this was a match that I'm not gonna even lie to you. I was so like focused on the match before that. With this match here, it was cool. It was okay. It Bad Bunny and Damian Priest match took the life out of me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, really I'd say this match felt more like a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown main event.
Yes,
very much so.
Like when they come out and they fight each other, and then they have to fight each other at the main event. Typical Monday Night Raw writing. What did you ask, Cedric?
I was wondering, like, and maybe it's just the absence of Roman. We haven't seen Roman since the Raw after Mania. Has this angle kind of cooled off a little bit? Because it didn't feel as meaningful. And I agree that they did them wrong with this slot in the card, because like following the Bad Bunny match is a complete bad idea. Just like ending the pay-per-view with Cody and Brock, I thought that was going to open the show. So I think they were the victim of a bad spot, but just the overall bloodline storyline, is it cooling off a little bit? I feel like Sammy's pop was huge, but like what we're seeing in a 6-man tag, which is probably traditional after WrestleMania, I feel like this didn't hit. Like you said, like it felt like a weekday match, but I feel like even the moments in the match just didn't hit. Like I feel like we're seeing them every week now.
I think I blame production, because I think this should have been, Bianca should have been after this, or like she should have been this at this time. I think they should have, if they would have swapped this with Bianca and let them open, and then they would have given us a title match after Bad Bunny and them. But I also think that no matter who or what, or no matter what match was after Bad Bunny, that's a hard act to follow. Like that's something, it literally should have been Brock and Cody like right after, because, or I think if they would have opened, it would have been a little like, this whole card was determined on where Damian and Bad Bunny were. That's what your workhorse match, you don't have to worry about. You can put that anywhere. We knew that was going to be the triple threat going into that. We knew that Io and Bianca were going to be our like rest time. Like I didn't think that match was going to be first. I didn't agree with that. I didn't like the fact that she was opening the show, in the sense, because it almost was like, all right, well, let's get one of the women out of the way, because we know Rhea and Zelina are coming. But I think it's all about producing and making sure that when you're placing like fill it, because this is truly a filler match on this card. Like I know they have history, I know the bloodline, all this is going on or whatever. It is becoming a little stale, but I think it's becoming stale on both ends. I'm not gonna put the sole blame on the bloodline, because I love Kevin and I love Sammy, two of my favorites. I just think that there's just something that's missing, and I think that this is just kind of just a one-off to have exposure for the titles, and not actually like, okay, Roman's not going to be on this card, so we have to bring in the enforcements. So
I kind of think it's like they missed the opportunity, and then not the bloodline itself, but creative like missed the opportunity at the highest peak of the storyline of what was happening, from because what happened at Royal Rumble was just like literally the end of Royal Rumble had everybody just frozen, and it was just like, so you're expecting whatever to happen at Royal Rumble is leading to WrestleMania, and we knew that. But the thing that kind of just like, hey, throws a wrench in it was just the fact that it was like, okay, well, Cody won, the Royal Rumble, so then that gets thrown into, well, he's wanting to go against Roman and all this stuff, which is like switched up because of the timing that I feel that Cody came in. And so I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling like the story just started cooling because we were really expecting the climax of all of this, like the Godfather ending, to hit at WrestleMania, and it didn't necessarily, and it was split. It was split between before the story was compact into one thing, but then it got split to these two main events, and the main event was against Cody Rhodes, and I just felt like, I don't know, that's just my opinion, but I do agree that it's kind of like cooling in some kind of way, because it just seems to me like even they don't know exactly where to take the storyline and keep it at the intensity that it was in January. I don't know how you're going to meet that level of intensity again.
That's what happens when you take main events from other people. I don't know who's back there politicking, and I don't know who's back there making them the main event, blah, blah, blah. But we all know Rhea and Charlotte had one of the best matches the whole damn WrestleMania week.
Period.
And what was very upsetting is when I went to night one, and I'm sitting there and I'm literally in tears because of Charlotte and Rhea. And I'm thinking, like, why is there another match after this? Like, but then I do love Kevin and Sammy, so I was a little more like, okay, I love them. I want to see them win. And then when they won, I cried again, and I was just super emotional. And I'm like, okay, blah, blah, blah. But now that we're still in this storyline, what was the reason? Like, what was the reason of it being such a big deal to main event and then winning the championships, but they're in the same feud? Why are they not? Like, why are they having tag team matches with other people? You know, why are they not building a story with the Street Profits or even the Viking Raiders or just anyone at this point? Like, why are we still circling back to Sammy and all this shit going on with the bloodline? I personally think that Sammy needs to learn how to let go, and Jay needs to learn how to let go too. And Solo, you need to knock them the fuck out today. You need to knock both. Do it today. Today.
The little brother gonna knock out the bigger brothers
today. Like, it's we have to, like, you have to go ahead and see it through, my dog. See it through, because let's just be honest, Solo has became one of the biggest stars in such a quick. That surprise when they brought him in, I don't care what no one said. No one was expecting that. Yeah. No one was expecting the bloodline to increase with another brother. And it was kind of messed up because, I mean, there was a lot that went into it. I think that people were losing titles in NXT that shouldn't have been losing titles. And Solo, obviously, they wanted to make him look greater than thou. But I think Solo has really proven himself. And I love this picture so much because it really represents who has been carrying the bloodline recently. Now, if you would have asked me a year ago or even 2 years ago or whenever the hell they started this bullshit, I would have said Jay. I would have said Jay. Main event Jay. But main event Jay isn't main event Jay no more. And the Usos are kind of losing their sizzle. You know, they're always going to be legends. They're always going to be one of the greatest tag teams in history. Yeah. But it makes me wonder, are the Usos without a title or without a reign? What if they didn't have the bloodline? Like, where would we be? Because obviously the bloodline ain't that thick, according to this.
Whenever you need to heat the Usos back up, you know what the red button is. You get that New Day Uso feud again going. Because it cooks every single time.
They're gonna bring Jacob Fatu over here next.
They can't do the Usos and the New Day no more because they on different brands. Unless they.
But that's what's confusing now too, though, because like, yeah, we got Kevin and Sammy with the titles. These titles have been adjoined for some time now without any hint of dividing them. So are we just gonna have one unified title? Or are they gonna get different belts now? There's too much like holding up of the tag team division by just having these unified titles. And I think that's why it's gotten kind of stale, because at this point, we just wait for the other shoe to drop. We waiting for Solo to attack Jay, or we waiting for Jay to get fed up and attack Roman. And we don't know how long that's going to take, because now we think that Roman going to have the title until September. So they got to figure out stuff really quick. But by the time they get back to the States for their next PLE, which is SummerSlam in August.
All I gotta say is I told y'all that this year the bloodline is ending. I'm gonna keep telling y'all. I told y'all this when this shit even fucking started, that the bloodline is gonna get to a point where they run out of creativity and that this shit is gonna be ending. But now y'all Roman fans, y'all bloodline, put your ones in the air, the wrong finger at that, put the middle finger up, because all y'all understood the fact that I told y'all that eventually that this is gonna be ending. Look at all this corruption in the family.
You know, the truth is, I always knew it was going to end at some point. I knew his wave was going. It's just like I've been a Roman fan because I have seen from the very beginning where the booing all started, and that was just poor booking too, because Roman was set to win Royal Rumble 2015, but then Daniel Bryan was returned. And everybody flipped out because Daniel Bryan didn't win Royal Rumble. And that's when they started booing Roman. From that moment, everybody hated Roman. And it just continued and continued. And it was just like, he was being forced and everything. And I kept saying this, just turn him heel. Because I'm an advocate for turn a person heel. And most of the time they're going to find their footing because they don't have to appease the audience and they can talk their shit. And so when Roman came back, first it was the cancer thing, and then he came back as a face for a little bit. But here was the key blessing. And Cedric, we were talking about this. The key blessing for Roman once he got that title was the pandemic, because during the pandemic there was no audience there to hijack the narrative like they always would. Especially when Roman would do his promos and stuff. So Roman was able to not have to worry about the audience. He could just act. He could just be. He didn't even have to talk loud. He can be quieter. When he was looking at the camera while he's having someone in a headlock talking shit, it was like you hear it now. It was classic. And so it was like, I was watching like, this is the perfect time for Roman, because any other time the audience would just be hijacking whatever narrative they wanted to be. And they couldn't for 2 years. And during that whole time, Roman was finding his footing. And that's why I was just like, yo, it's Roman's time now. And this bloodline thing is so amazing. But coming from the music realm, everybody's hottest like time usually lasts about 5 years tops, period. And that's everyone. You can think of any pop bands, rap artists and stuff. Usually their longest running time is about 5 years. So even in this, I look at it like, okay, the bloodline's going to have its wave, but once it hits its highest peak, there's only one place to go but down. And that's coming this year. And no matter how hard anyone tries to hold on to it, it's coming down.
I'm gonna let y'all know right now, I'm gonna be the happiest person ever when this shit is over. I'm telling you now. I wasn't on the ride for the bloodline even before it even started. Now, don't get me wrong, I did like Roman. I thought he was cool, you know what I'm saying? But when it came to the promos, he was not cooking like he somewhat does now, I guess. But even still, I still think that he there's one person that he's still not touching on the mic to this day, and that's somebody who's not showing up, is The Rock. If he ever decides he wants to.
If we're talking about mic skills, the next one up is LA Knight.
I was just for that. I was literally thinking she was winning.
What? But that's only if they are looking to put LA Knight in the title picture.
Yeah, he should be in the tournament. Absolutely be in the tournament.
I think the audience is going to put LA Knight in the title picture at some point when he gets the right booking, the right rivalry, the right storyline.
Yeah,
that could see. Oh, it's on for LA Knight, hands down.
I got a question. What would get y'all, for lack of better words, reinvested in this bloodline saga? Because we see a lot of interactions happening between Jay and Sammy behind the scenes, even in the emotional moments in the ring. What if they just threw a complete curveball at us and Sammy turned on Kevin and rejoined the bloodline?
I would hate that because it took so long for Sammy and Kevin to actually get back along.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything on the face of this earth that could allow me to give a fuck about the bloodline. I haven't. I never have. I never will. I don't think it's anything that. I think the most astonishing moment was with Solo. I think that's what reeled me back in, but not for long. It just kind of was just like, oh, like, okay, y'all might be cooking, but y'all, the problem is consistency with the build. You're not trying, and this is just from a creative standpoint, you're not trying to get people invested that are already invested. You're trying to get more than that 2.6 million. You're trying to get people like myself and Santana who don't give a shit about the bloodline, but we're gonna still pull up because we love wrestling. But even with that being said, I think it's going to take for Roman to take a break. He needs to, like, I'm tired of seeing Roman on my TV. And even though he doesn't show up, there's still a prevalence of his reign where even if he doesn't show up, his presence is still there. I think it's going to, for me personally, it's going to take that man to go home and just, when he comes back, then maybe. But he needs a long-ass break. Like,
well, yeah, obviously now he's taking care of his family too. So I mean, the break is earned, and I'm still an advocate that whoever takes the title from him will be a huge star. I think the problem is now is creatives trying to figure out who they want to anoint in that role.
Yeah, because it's big shoes to fill.
That will actually have staying power. I mean,
I think to add what you know, Nikki, what you were saying about like just tired of seeing him on TV, and here's why I totally understand what you're saying. Because the thing was, I was at WrestleMania 2. I went to WrestleMania for my birthday. And so Roman comes out and the match is happening. And I looked to my best friend next to me and I was like, I get it now. I get it. And he's like, what? I was like, I get Roman Reigns matches now. I understand it. And he's like, what? I was like, you have to be there in person to really feel it. It's like it's like watching baseball. Baseball on television, boring as hell. But in person, it's a totally different feeling. So when Roman finally came out there, I was like, yo, there is a presence and a charisma about him that can't really be explained. And that's why Vince and all of them could see, you know, in him. And so what I think, it was just like when I was finally seeing a match in person, I wasn't even thinking or complaining about he only has 4 or 5 moves and blah, blah, blah. It was just like I was invested in the story of the match. And that's where I became more like an admirer of like, yo, he does great storytelling in the match. And I feel it because when you're there in person, you don't have commentators to narrate everything that's happening for you. So you're just engaged in the moment. And that's where I was like, I get it. But on television, it's like his matches are boring a lot of times. And that made total sense to me. So that I just wanted to visit. Like I get why you're tired of seeing him on TV. It's
but
like
also
seeing
the
him
same
in person.
outcome too.
I don't know.
But also he has the same outcome too with his matches. Looking at his title reigns, we already are expecting the Usos to come out. Now we're expecting Solo to come out. We know Paul Heyman's gonna try to be a distraction. It's the same outcome every time. No matter how many, they're gonna go to 2050 and it's still going to be the same old ass super kicks that we're getting from the Usos. Samoan Spike, Jacob Fatu, the other brother Zilla Fatu finna come over. The daughter finna get involved. Rikishi gonna come out and give a break dance or some shit. Like we about to get the whole goddamn family coming out. He give us the same goddamn spear.
It's tired.
Superman punch. Ooh-wah spear. 1, 2, 3, and then we're right back in the same position that we've been in. It's the same.
It's been a while since we had a clean victory since he's been like. I think it was probably like not that long after the pandemic since he would like really impose his will and put the guillotine on somebody and choke them out to their lifeless. They need to like go back to that because he has the final boss feel, but like the clean victories have been lacking for a while now.
Yeah,
especially if he's supposed to be this big threat to everybody.
I think it's just
I know.
I think it's kind of one of those things like television with like television. I feel like most television series usually should stop by the 3rd season. a lot of times, unless they already have a plan like Breaking Bad or Snowfall, where it's like, okay, and they get it. But all the shows that ended up running past 3 seasons and started getting towards 5, 6, everything from Dexter to Nip Tuck, and I could just name so many things. Once it keeps on going, and it's like then you're just forcing, continuing.
I have to rebuttal because The Office had 9 seasons. So
that's different with comedy. That's different with comedy.
It is different with
hour-long shows. With hour-long shows.
That's fair.
It's a little
Stranger Things. I don't know. I'm on this Cobra Kai and it's cooking right now. I don't know. I've been kind of hooked.
American Horror Story too. She would like a word because that.
See, and that's the thing. Ryan Murphy. I am a Ryan Murphy fan, and the thing is, normally that's the reason why that show works is because he changes it every season.
Every season.
If you go to Nip Tuck, Glee,
that makes sense.
After it goes to after the 3rd season, a Ryan Murphy show would usually get like, what is happening right
now? Yeah.
Maybe
I've heard those same complaints for like Manifest and shows like that.
I still have to see it. I want.
Never watch Manifest. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna manifest Roman losing.
Can I sell y'all a Manifest real quick? Can I?
Manifest?
How you gonna show it?
Right.
I don't know. It's one of those shows that's redundant, but like you get hooked on wanting to know what happens.
Is that one on Apple TV or something else?
It's on Netflix now.
Netflix. Okay, Netflix. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Well, we're gonna manifest that Roman lose these titles and all this shit go away. And I can go back to
the story.
Hey, the wheels fall off.
Hold on. Everybody talking about Cody Rhodes finishing this story. Finish this bloodline story. This shit been going on for too fucking long. Y'all in the same writers' room.
It's because they threw Cody in the bigs. Like if they would have thought that they could have climaxed it. They could have,
but they chose to fuck everybody over by allowing him to continue this reign because they want to go down this prophecy bullshit. You know,
1,000 days.
1,000.
I understand. I'm new. I understand both ends. I understand both sides.
Yeah,
I see. Roman will never be a wrestler's wrestler. Like that's just it. He will never go past a sports entertainer, in my opinion. I feel the same way about Rock. I never really you can't show me like a match with The Rock and be like, this is
like, it's story.
Like it's story, it's Mike's skill. Like we give people Trish even spoke about this recently, and everyone knows my problems with Trish. Like she was saying that she was a big name, and I get it. But Trish, let's be honest, girl, you can't hang with the girls of today. And if you were to go to TNA like you said you would have got drowned out. Like you are not. Roman and Trish are very similar to me, and the way that their camaraderie with their name is bigger than their wrestling ability, and that's okay because we're in WWE. But me loving Impact Wrestling the way that I do, and knowing how hard they go out and actually like physically do like wrestling. Roman's just not that person, but he's a great person to not like. And I think that's why I personally think that's why he beat Cody, because we don't always get what we want. Ask Sasha Banks when she's in Boston. Okay. You can't get everything that you want. You can't get everything, we can't get everything. And I think that I'm not going to say that it was a bad idea to let Roman retain, but I'm starting to get to that point where, okay, is there another reason besides the 1,000 days? Because if it's not, then let's feel for a minute.
I'm a Roman fan, and I agree.
I think they want to implement something within the bloodline. Like I think what they're trying to do maybe is really trying to get Jay to be the one to be Roman. It's very possible that they could want to have that route. Honestly,
they went Money in the Bank.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know.
They got rid of Money in the Bank, didn't they? Are they still doing Money in the Bank?
They're still doing Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank
in London. Got rid of something.
That's happening in London. Money in the Bank is, but I don't know. Like there's Roman need to bring his ass to work so he can get his family in order.
Yeah.
You want to run off after you win big matches that people are carrying you in, just so your family can continue to dissolve.
Yeah.
So get your shit together before you worry about somebody else. Finish this shit here. and we finished with them. All right, so we're done here. The bloodline law. We bring us to our what should have not been the last match of the night, which was Cody and Brock Lesnar.
No.
It was, I mean, this match to me, I felt like it was not long. To be honest, I think after Brock got literally busted open, which is a very bad photo that I got of him because it does not look right. But so I mean, I knew that once Brock bumped his head into that turnbuckle, I knew that like, yeah, that's it. He's already.
I ain't gonna lie, I got scared though. I thought he folded his ass towards the end though. I thought Cody was gonna get bagged up.
When he did that, when he had did that L5 out of nowhere, I was like, that's it. He put him in a guillotine block. I was like, oh yeah, we go ahead and break your damn arm now because the other titty finna get popped next. But it didn't turn out that way. He rolled that man up 1, 2, 3, like he did the same shit Liv Morgan did to Ronda Rousey. You know what I'm saying? And they got the victory and got his ass the hell out of there. So y'all could have saved.
Very surprising. Very awkward ending.
It was like Brock losing in a interesting way that rolled up in a submission. Like you didn't realize you was getting counted. Maybe the loss of blood was, not.
To me, it shows the will to win for Cody Rhodes and how he's about to. And this is just me, like playing devil's advocate almost. There's gonna be a time where the fans turn on Cody.
It's gonna happen very shortly after winning.
And I think we're gonna go back to matches like this and think about how it was building to him turning heel, right? So you're getting a quick victory over someone like Brock Lesnar, but you talk about how vigilant you are and how you're wanting to beat him, but you rolled him up. And I think this could be, there's always foreshadowing in creative. And I think the best thing that you can do is, as a face, prepare them for. I remember how much I loved Charlotte, and then I found out everyone hated her. And then I found out how she felt about that. She wanted to be loved by the audience. And then she realized that if she would turn heel, that she could actually not worry about getting that validation. And with Cody Rhodes, I mean, Charlotte Flair said it. This company was built on Flair being the champion and Rhodes being the challenger. And that's absolutely true, because no matter what, Rhodes is still on the roads and on the journey of getting back to. I don't know if they're going to swerve us and just have him win that title, but I think it's going to probably come down to him and Seth if it does. But either way,
but it can though, because Seth and Cody are on Raw. They're going
to have SmackDown Superstars in the tournament too.
Yeah, too though. So it wouldn't. Now, if the triple threat match goes, it could come down to Seth and Cody to face each other on Monday Night Raw.
Right.
But at Night of Champions,
because Seth is on Raw.
Yeah, Seth is on Raw.
And Cody is on Raw.
Exactly.
So either one of them could actually win the title. I don't know. I think it's. I want it to be theory, but I get it.
Shinsuke.
Yes, because Shinsuke is on Raw too, so this could be in a triple threat match though.
I'm not mad.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. But I think Cody needs to figure out, like, because we don't jump right back to Roman. I mean, I wouldn't think we do. If we do, then we just do. But I think needs to be. You need to take out Solo, or you need to take out somebody before you go back to Roman, because what we saw at WrestleMania was very. I can still remember because we went to Dave and Buster's for night 2 in LA, and I can still remember the look, because we were the Renegade Twins were there and a couple people that trained at the Nightmare Factory and everything, and so we're laughing and having a good time. And I can remember how quiet it got when Roman, like, and this is Dave and Buster's, it was so visually quiet to the point people could not believe. And I said Roman was going to win, because I know how creative can be. But the silence that you feel, you can just tell that the job was done. Like, you can't please everyone, but the job, whatever y'all were trying to conquer on both sides, was done. And I think now that Cody has a really big victory over someone like Brock Lesnar, I don't know. I
was there on day 2 as well, and I just kept like there was just surrounded by people going for Cody, and just me and my friends, like they just kept on saying things, and certain moves would happen, and they would think he's about to win. I'm like, y'all about to be disappointed. Y'all about to be disappointed. That's all I can say. Y'all about to be really disappointed because I just knew. I just knew where it was going. Yeah. And so I think Cody's well on his way. Yeah, I'm just waiting to see that. I don't think whether he turns heel or not, I just think there's that edge, that I'm waiting, to see come out of Cody, and I think that really is going to be determined by the rivalry who he's going against. So they really just need to book the right rivalry with him that will just give him more push.
Yeah, but I don't think he's done with Roman though. Like his end goal seems to still be trying to get to Roman and defeat Roman and take those titles. Like that's still prevalent on his mind, obviously. Yeah. Brock just happened to be like that next step coming in to block that for a second, and he had to get through Brock, somebody who's faced Roman on countless times, wins, losses, whatever, feuds, and etc. He had to get through Brock. So then I was like, who else do you go after? Are you going to go through all of Roman's past opponents just to get to Roman? We were already at 1,000+ days by then.
Well, it'd be funny if he defeats Theory, honestly.
If he beats
Theory, goes and defeats Theory, and then he wins his title, and then he has to relinquish, and then Theory's fucked up again. I love Theory. But Theory, no one can take a loss like Austin Theory, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's literally like the new age Baron Corbin.
Oh, so he's a bum ass too. All right.
Not too much on Baron Corbin, because girl, that's my dude. Now.
Yeah. He was also JBL's dude, but what happened?
JBL, listen, JBL gets a pass because he's a legend. He needs to go
border control too. But anyway.
Border control. Border control.
Right. But I don't know what to say. But shout out to Cody for getting that win. That's all I can say about that, child.
Yeah, I don't think this rivalry is over at all. I think Brock's gonna continue to hunt Cody just because it keeps him away from that, trying to figure out whatever that Roman minutia is and him finishing the story. I mean, this match went completely opposite of the way I thought it was gonna go. I thought Brock was gonna come here and send Cody to the upper room. I thought this was gonna be a repeat of Brock versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam. He's just gonna leave Cody in a pool of blood. So when Brock started bleeding, I was surprised. I was like, oh, they're letting Cody get in his bag a little bit. But I don't think this is over. I think this is more of Cody having to give that chase because there's more money in the chase. And if you remember, Cody sold the most merch WrestleMania week. I think they'll continue going off of that, profiting off him being over and being really popular with the fan base. It's because they know they're printing money by having him continue his chase and trying to figure out, hey, where do we go from here? I think you'll see a rivalry with Solo. I think Theory's a good name to come out there. Whenever Randy comes back, I think we'll see a number of roadblocks in Cody's way before he finally says, all right, now I got you alone, Roman.
Mm-hmm. He's going to get rid. The bloodline is going to have to be gone completely. Like,
right.
Somehow, some way, you got to get rid of the Usos. You definitely need, Usos are pretty easy to kind of get through, to be honest. It's Solo that you need to get rid of, to be honest. Like, and Paul, you can just put him in the ocean or something.
But don't underestimate Paul, how he can set up some kind of distraction. Or some kind of thing.
Somehow, some way. Unless
they always figuring out something.
Unless y'all bring another Fatu, and then we're like, all right, Rikishi, we'll have to bring you in the back and have.
No, they've been Nia been in the lab, man, and I know they want to get a woman in the bloodline angle, and I think they're almost teasing that a little bit.
Well, now that
even when
we
she
wanted
came,
Naomi,
when she came for Royal Rumble, she was rocking red. She was dripping with red. I was like, and it had the patterns too. Yeah, it looked.
I mean, she could. I mean, you also there's Nia, there's Tamina. You can't use Trinity because she's over in Impact.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So like there's a lot that can go into it. But
I kind of just feel like Bloodline just it's one of those things that I feel like they're not in this year are probably gonna hit that same peak of intensity in their story, but it can come back. But I think I don't know. I think maybe it does need some time with. I don't know. I don't know where it's going. I really don't know.
I agree. Well, that does pretty much kind of brings us to the end of Backlash per se. It was a great showing and everything, starting with the press conference. Cody speaking Spanish, something that Brandy has not heard before from him, which is a great. Why you look like that, Nikki?
Jesus, they weren't letting that man speak Spanish in AEW.
Hold on, I got you.
Oh. Play it.
San Juan, Puerto Rico. ¿De qué quieren hablar?
I'm just saying, I popped for that. I was like, okay, let your Cuban side pop out for one time in front of all these.
We love a good bilingual black king. Okay?
We do. Dr.
That's our king right there. He gotta do it. He gotta finish that story, Cody. Hurry up.
Like, come on now, wrap it up. Just like Riverdale needs to wrap it up. You need to wrap it up too.
Tonight.
Before we get out of here, we're taking a commercial break, and then we'll let you know where you can keep up with them and everything like that.
Hey peeps, TK Trinidad here, boss lady of Women's Wrestling Talk. And I want to say thank you so much for watching, because you've got millions of options. Plus, you don't have to worry about sharing your password to check us out. But while you're here, hopefully you know we have so many more shows to watch, like Turnbuckle Glam, Raw Post Show, WoW Post Show, AEW Dynamite Post Show, Women's Wrestling Army Post Show, NXT Post Show, Impact Wrestling Post Show, AEW Rampage and SmackDown Live Post Show, On the Scroll, ROH Post Show, WWT Live, plus all of our interviews with the hottest women's wrestlers in the game. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our website at www.talkpod.com and follow us on all social media platforms at www.talkpod, and make sure to spread the word. That means send this to the group chat. Yes, even the person with the green bubble. Thanks again so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
All right. Yes, of course, you can check out all of our shows that we have here on Women's Wrestling Talk, starting with Nikki. Let everyone know where they can. I'm playing. Where can they find you at, Nikki?
Y'all can find me on Twitter. That's normally where I do the do. I want to give a really big shout out to my CEO in the building. She's not here, but I know she's somewhere. Huge interview with Trinity. If you haven't watched it, Trinity has been giving Women's Wrestling Talk so much love. We were able to connect over the weekend of LA with WrestleCon and everything. And we talked about it Thursday a little bit, but I'm very, very, very appreciative of Trinity coming to somewhere like Impact Wrestling. We've been doing a lot of stuff with them, and we've been building a great relationship. So it's great to have even more people. But yes, I did graduate today. Just want to say that the BS is done from the Tennessee State University, of course, the only state-funded HBCU here in Tennessee, founded on Juneteenth. So very proud to be an HBCU grad, and glad to share this moment with all of y'all. Me and Santana really don't do too many guests. And I just want to commend Cedric and Booney for coming in, because y'all really, y'all did the thing. I really enjoyed the conversation tonight. So, yeah. But Twitter, don't find me nowhere else.
All right, Booney.
Oh, yeah. First and foremost, thank you guys for having me here. I was nervous at first, but I had a really good time, discussing all of this with y'all, and I appreciate y'all having me. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and YouTube. Those two platforms is where I'm most active at Booney Mayfield. And yeah, I have if you go on my YouTube channel, I got a new web series I started called Bone Walker. If you ever were familiar with Michael Jackson's Moonwalker back in the day, it's kind of inspired by that, how it's kind of like an anthology all over the place type of musical documentary. So, you could check that out. I also got a musical comedy series with my wife called Boone TV. So if you want to laugh and see some craziness with some great music, check that out as well. And got some more new music dropping. You can find me on Spotify under Booney Mayfield, Apple Music, all the major streaming platforms, all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you guys for having me here.
Of course. Absolutely. And Cedric?
You can find me on Twitter at says, that's CEDD_SAYS, or on the gram at said is the answer. I'll change this to be uniform. I'm still figuring out how. I'm an old head. And also, I do articles for dailyddt.com. I'll be putting up an article tonight recapping WWE Backlash, the top 3 moments. And again, thank you guys for having me. I've been part of WWT for the past month. I haven't even met everybody yet, but I'm in the chat with y'all. It's always engaging. So thank you for having me here on this Saturday night, just talking wrestling. Nothing I would want to do more.
All right. And as for me, of course, you can Google me, Drion Santana, DRIUNE. That's where you can always find me. If you want to know where my socials at, Google me. Pull up my analytics, all that stuff there, my background, my resume, all that good jazz there. And of course, you can always check out me and Nikki holding down Women's Wrestling Talk on Monday Night Raw and not NXT, but Impact Wrestling. At this point, I feel like me and Nikki could take over all the shows. No shade, no tea.
We might have to do a run-in on y'all on the news one week, so you might see us.
Yeah, we normally do it unannounced, so yeah.
But we like y'all. Y'all did good.
Thank you.
Nikki like that. I don't like
appreciate that.
Santana doesn't like humans at all.
I don't. Dogs, I don't care what you are. I don't like none of you.
But yes.
Nonetheless, thank you guys so much.
I want to earn it, man. I want to earn it.
You want to earn it? You have to put that 1,000 days in like Roman. But
oh man.
Once again, definitely check out the website at www.talkpod.com. Check out our socials all over the place. Check out all of our other past shows that we have here as well. Nonetheless, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. And we'll see you guys next time.
Ciao.